the awe of courtship in those lovely true love relationships. So it involves intellect, emotional, and physical compatibility, number one. One. Now, true love involves that you have intimacy with the self of you. Otherwise, you might be doing this thing called let me have you emotionally regulate me while I bring to you my childhood abusers. So we want people to understand that an individual who doesn't know how to consistently communicate with you is going to be someone that doesn't know how to court you. And so the awe of courtship is going to be straightforward. Now, we don't want to accuse people of stalking, love bombing, gaslighting, ghosting. I see all these individuals weaponizing psychoeducational words while they don't go to good therapy. They don't even do personal development, self-help, or true spirituality. They wear mantles. So you know what true spirituality is. So one, 5D mystic here in the Enlightenment Soul Age group, I have not forgotten what courtship is or what love is. In fact, it hasn't gotten harder to love. I'm polyamory. I love more people. Now, what I also know, though, is the awe of courtship is not an art. It involves a person who has intimacy with their self and doesn't need me to emotionally regulate them. Means they know how to have an interaction with me, a fight, as well as splinters, as well as consistent discussions. Not leave the minute that we have one exchange that doesn't go the way that they want it to go. So what I have noticed is that there are a lot of people who don't know the simple steps of emotions. So let's talk about that. The awe of courtship in relationships is going to happen only when you have people who are able to commit because they want to. Okay, so let's see. Number one, as I said, mental and emotional interests. And if you notice that someone is pretty much off, then you're going to notice this, that they talk to you about things that are of not interest to you, right? Okay, and then if they don't notice how you are feeling when you're telling it to them, there's another one. Now, when you meet anyone who immediately wants to weaponize those psych words, yes. So if somebody tells you you're stalking, but you're actively trying to woo them, I'm going to say that's an overreaction. They want to block you and friend you, go no contact. That's, again, another overreaction because there's serious aspects that people can protect themselves from. And then there's this. How do you know if someone's love bombing you? Why do you need the word? First of all, if you have a good gut, I have pinpointed people who do the love bombing thing from a mile away, not with me, because see, my gut's pretty good. If I'm not interested in you, I'm not interested. And really, in order for me to even know if there's something going on from your end, you'd have to tell me to my face, otherwise I won't be able to get it. If I like you all, I'll tell you in your face. Okay, so here, how have I courted? Well, I will court someone based on what I know they like, based on me consistently wanting to interact with them, based on me surprising them perhaps. Okay, so straightforward. It doesn't get, again, harder. Now, if somebody says to you to back off, or they begin to basically show signs of unappreciation without being direct, you ask. And that's when it doesn't get harder to ask people in their face or behind their back. No, in their face, not behind their back. Okay, so the awe of courtship is something like this. You get flowers every day, you get phone calls every day, and it doesn't stop. I have had one of these lovely 4-year good relationships. In fact, this is the part of what courtship is. This person is perfect for the stories. And then as for the rest, well, as you get older, what I didn't realize is how many people don't understand we cannot demand our partners to help us emotionally regulate while projecting our childhood abusers onto them. So when you have people who have unhealed trauma and they're unaware of their adaptive child pattern behavior, you got a Cusco. When I got Cuscos, I already know Cuscos because I had my teenage friends. So this is the exact reason why with our twin flame or flames, just no surprise. In fact, actively even if you would be surprised, then you're going to be reminded of the people who don't have intimacy for the self, because having intimacy with your own self means you know how to tell me the truth in my face, not behind my back. You know how to talk to me consistently, not block me, unfriend me, all that stuff. You know how to show up. Okay, so showing up is actually consistent, contingent communication. What I have uncovered from all my attachment trauma courses is that there's a lot of people that don't seem to like to have emotional conversations. And so they are securely attached. They don't have any of this deep, deep, big childhood developmental trauma. Simply put, they like to fall on gender stereotypes, and then they use the psychoeducational words to point at each other. I mean, you calling someone a stalker who's trying, not me, but I've been told stories of people getting accused for stalking when all they're doing is actively pursuing a romantic relationship. It's ridiculous. Oh my gosh, I don't even know how many different ways to share though. FYI, if you meet anyone who overreacts to you trying to court them, that's a red flag of a person who needs a therapist, because obviously they don't know how to use their mouth or how it works to date. I'm 44, so for me, it's more of when I hear certain types of conversations, I know why I'm so lucky, is all I'm going to say. Because I do know how to consistently communicate I'm uninterested in you, due to the fact that apparently there's only one thing people are interested in as they get older. That's fascinating, and it has nothing to do with courtship. But again, that's for those people who actively are not looking to emotionally be available to another person. Okay, so if someone doesn't text you back, if somebody doesn't continue to court you, my lovely ladies and gentlemen, and theys, the men, leave it alone. You don't need closure. What you want to understand is that the only human beings who actively don't show up consistently are the same ones who, the hurt people who hurt people. You can tell them about childhood trauma therapy. You can talk to them about attachment information. They will not be interested in it. So that's not courtship. Courtship remains the same thing I learned about as I was growing up, and it's very beautiful when you actively have man, woman, or they who know what it means to truly love, because they know how to love their self first. And while on the internet we hear a lot of those, at least I notice all these gender stereotypes, all of these, dramatic saga like the twin flame, what they did. Twin flame is not something complicated. It's not something addictive. The only people who have addictions like that are the same ones who don't own their human being embodied brain. And that means to me that you do need a good therapist, because you obviously don't know how to do self-help, personal development, and to work with your thoughts and emotions and know how to talk to a person about something that's bothering you with the respect. Oh, also, you know what's fun about courtship? It's fun to get creative, because when you appreciate someone, you get creative in how you like to share with them those small things that you know that they like. And so that's the other part. If somebody is knowing and getting to know you, they're going to consistently want to have more interactions. And so they will involve themselves in activities and in thinking processes, and there's a way that you'll notice that you're tangoing. It doesn't get harder. The ones who tell you it gets harder, they obviously don't have a sense of self that is in their awareness yet. So they don't know what they want. If they did, they would know exactly what they are doing in their day-to-day. Tune in for more. And again, true love. You love yourself unconditionally, with flaws and imperfections and with integrity. And that's because we go out into the world and we speak to people. If people, they get overreactive, you apologize, you take your steps back, you leave it alone, and you move forward. There's 8 billion people, as I told my teenage friends, and I'll tell you now, there's all these people, all the fish out in their sea. You're going to find those who know what beauty it is to have the capacity to court you, man, woman, or they, polyamory or monoamory. And it is one of the most beautiful things to have that lovely romance the right way, because there are those who, as I was saying, they don't have the right way. They are not emotionally available. They actively want the roller coaster, so they're just looking for their next hit because they have not gained a sense of self. They have not gained awareness of self, their solo self, their narrative relational, or their core self, and they don't notice that if you're not building more relationships, more time, it's not about it having to be the first love of your life. That's not it. It's about what are you building as you get older. And the beauty for those people who find that true love and then they grow old together, that's great. Some you meet it later on. Again, just keep out for those signs. It's going to be straightforward. You don't need to be calling anybody any names. That's unnecessary. You want to stay grounded. I find it very unfortunate that people that are securely attached find themselves. I have personally, again, many stories that I could share. And the ones who have stories that are clear as day to Pacha, I mean, you can explain to somebody as many as you want of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5s. If you don't get a good gut, if you don't get your own childhood trauma stuff healed, you're not going to know a stromboli from an actual live Pinocchio. I can spot a stromboli pretty much a mile away as it's happening, not with me, because that's the point. I'm not fooled. I have not had any type of fooling. One, because you speak out of your mouth, I'm going to watch you walk a walk. The minute you fall, I'm going to say, are you okay? And I'm going to come pick you up. The minute you push me away from you, I'm going to say, okay, what was that? I just tried to pick you up. I thought we were tangoing. What is it? I'm not going to be confused. By the time you push me again, now I'm going to know, okay, something's up. And to them, attachment trauma informed. So I don't use those words like people do. And we don't assume things either because, again, it's easy to love. You're either in or you're out. You're not doing the one foot. It's not a hard choice to court anyone. What's beautiful is when you get to see again those who do that. And we'll talk some more about that. We have a new moon coming up and that lovely Lions Gate. So it's bringing in love for all of those of you who are ready for it. And for those who don't want it, you're going to get some other stuff. And that's fun too for the ones who are into those momentarily lapses of, I don't even know what to talk about when it comes to that. But I do know some people are fond of, their seasons. And so some people have seasonal relationships. Others, well, the 4D, they're always going through something. So that's a whole other story. Thank you for stopping by. I look forward to hearing from you. Like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.